I'm Kate.
And I'm Jamie, and this is Creeps and Coffee,
A show where we talk about the creepiest crime cases around the world.
So, let's grab some coffee
and have a chat. Hello. Welcome back to episode 5, hey?
Oh my god, you sounded so Canadian.
Oh, Jesus. I'm just, obviously I knew we'd still be doing it, but can't believe it's already 5 episodes.
I'm surprised people are listening, honestly.
I'm shocked.
More so than, my mom and dad.
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be it.
Yeah, I was pretty convinced that we were gonna get bullied by ourselves.
That's still happening, but...
You know what? I'll give you that.
Not for other things.
Well, happy episode 5, buddy.
Yeah. How are you?
Proud of us. I'm good. Almost finished school. I took a big F on an exam yesterday.
Oh.
It was only worth 10% though, so it was fine.
Hey!
How are you?
Huh. Well, for people who don't personally know me, I've had 2 surgeries in the past 2 weeks that are pretty major, so I'm recovering. So it's a process.
You've been quite laid up, that's for sure.
So if I sound funny, it's because I had mouth surgery and I'm talking funny.
It's true. You always talk funny, though.
If you mean I'm hilarious, then yes, you're correct. If you mean I have weird speaking mechanisms, then...
also, yes.
Anyway, so today's topic...
So you thought it'd be fun to kind of dive into some local stuff, right?
Well, local for me.
Yeah, well, it used to be local for me.
Yeah.
Local-ish.
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. We talked a little bit about the existence of Nova Scotia in our first episode. There's a lot better aspects of it than Alan Leger.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
So yeah, we thought we'd talk about Halifax hotspots, like haunted places, just kind of creepy places in general. There were a lot to choose from though, so we had to kind of narrow it down.
Yeah, it's a very haunted place. I knew there
Oh my god.
Oh.
There was a story I wanted to tell you though. You guys can listen to it too.
Fantastic.
So, it's on. It was on the Halifax Harbor, on the boardwalk area, which is apparently haunted, by the way. But we'll get to that. So I went there for a birthday recently. Happy birthday, Natalie! And while we were there, we got ice cream, right? And it was I want to say 9 o'clock. It was very busy because there's a carnival in town. And we were all sitting down. There was a bunch of us having ice cream. And we were sitting on a bench overlooking the water, just
very
vibing.
romantic.
There was someone playing music in the background. The street lights were on. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And a tall man walks in front of us, turns around, and I noticed somebody in the corner holding a camera, and I was like, what? What's happening? Because they're recording this guy. And he takes off a shirt. He's wearing another shirt underneath, but he takes off one shirt, and we all kind of stop and look at this point where we're like, wait, what? Is he doing this for us? Are we getting a striptease? What's happening right now? And
Happy
so
birthday,
he takes off
Natalie.
a shirt, he throws it on the ground, and then he dives into the harbor. Which, if you don't live in Halifax, it's nasty. That is a big no-no. You will get, at least 3 diseases. That's not
disgusting.
good. So, yeah, we're like, really, dude? Yuck. And then we wait for him to climb out of the water. And he's weird, by the way. He looks weird.
Okay.
He starts humping the ladder as he's getting out.
Oh my
And the
God.
guy recording apparently doesn't know him. They don't know each other.
Oh, that's
So
even
he
worse.
starts, and then he gets off the ladder and starts doing that thing on the ground where you, like, guys grind on the ground.
Oh, no!
And he's soaking wet. He's got floppy body water all over the boardwalk. And he's just humping it. And at this point, he's drawn a bit of a crowd because we're all like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of cocaine are you on? And then he's not looking at anyone either. Like, he's staring at the ground. And then he shouts out, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, if you're looking, you have to pay me. So immediately all of our friends just kind of, like, duck our heads and start laughing. And then he gets up, grabs his shirt, and runs away.
You know what? Kudos to him.
I was like, what?
I'm
right in front of us of all the places. Why you gotta do it in front of a bunch of girls?
Yeah.
He was like mid-40s too, by the way. Like,
oh my god. I was picturing like our age.
Because at least then I'd be like, oh, this dude's drunk. But he was like old and like wrinkly. I was like,
oh, he's
what?
doing it for a TikTok or something.
Yeah, and then the guy who was filming him literally just runs the other way. Like, they didn't know each other. I was like,
love
hello?
that. That's perfect.
So...
And that, friends, is a lovely introduction to Halifax.
Yeah, that's Halifax.
There's never a dull moment.
Yes, it's a nice, interesting city. Interesting. Safe?
I guess...
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun?
Yeah, do you want to go out in the dark by yourself? Never. Jamie likes to text me, and we have a nice little game of gunshots or fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, most people that play that game, it's like, haha, like, you're in a suburban neighborhood, it's never a gunshot. But with Jamie, it's, like, sometimes a gunshot. Like,
yeah,
people have been murdered outside your apartment.
Literally outside my window from my bedroom, there was, like, a guy actually got shot at, like, a pizza joint, and I think he died. So when I play that game, I'm playing that game where I'm like, I think that's a gunshot. Should I look out for police?
I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because as your best friend and as someone on the other side of the country, when you're like, gunshot or firework, and you're pretty
like,
convinced it's a
your
gunshot, yeah, stay away from your windows.
It's fine.
So I guess for people that don't know, I guess we've got a couple listeners outside of Canada.
Yeah.
Halifax is the capital of Nova Scotia, which is a
quote-unquote big city.
The big city in the little place. Nova Scotia is a province on the east coast of Canada. Jamie and I grew up on the east coast, which is why there's a decent amount of twang that comes out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Halifax is a pretty busy place, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie once told me that she thought Halifax was the biggest city in the country.
I was uneducated. And wrong.
For those of you who don't realize how funny that is, it is not even close.
It's not even in the top 10.
No. So, yeah, Halifax, you know what, I will say, I did enjoy spending time in Halifax.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's definitely livable.
There's some good history to it. There's a lot of, like we said, interesting characters. Both living and dead.
Oh, that was, beautiful. Yeah, so
okay.
We can start talking about the creepy stuff now.
Well, I guess we should, before we kind of get into it too, we should probably say that a lot of this episode was inspired by a book that Jamie has.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fangirl now then. Okay, so I have this book called Halifax Haunts, Exploring the City's Spookiest Spaces. And the author's name is Steve Vernon. Steve, I love you. I've met him multiple times. Literally, I got so excited. I met him at my university that I graduated from. I think 2 years ago. He was doing a Halloween event where he was telling scary stories. And then I saw him again at a different Halloween event telling scary stories by a campfire. And then I saw him at the Christmas forum, and he was selling his scary books. So I was like, hey, I've seen you and spoke to you multiple times. And he was like, oh, cool. So he signed my book for me and stuff. And he spelled my name right.
I didn't know that.
And you should definitely get his book, because not only does it have the history of all the haunted places, it has a map of Halifax with everything marked off. So if you want to walk around, you can see it. So big shout out to Steve.
Yeah, big shout out to Steve. I will I'm going to try and find his book on either his website or on Amazon, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes, so if people want to check it out. And I'll try and find his social media too, so we can shout him out a little bit more there.
Great guy.
Because, I have not had the pleasure of meeting him because I am, as I said, on the other side of the country. But Jamie speaks very highly of the book and very highly of Steve. And
I'm like sweating.
I don't think tonight's episode would have been as fun without being able to do some research from his book. So big ups to Steve.
Thanks, Steve. So, I'll start off. And this first place I actually don't think is in Steve's book. But let me check. No. But it's one of my favorite places in Halifax. It is the Camp Hill Cemetery. And if you've been to Halifax or you plan on going to Halifax, it's right next to the public garden. You just walk through the public garden, you will see the cemetery. Just go towards it. It's beautiful. And I thought we would talk about this first because it's kind of like a lighter subject. It doesn't feel haunted necessarily in a scary way. It feels like there's something there, but a good something.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Every time I loved walking through that when I had no Wi-Fi because I was bored. But I would walk through there, and it was always sunny and light and warm, and it just gave me really good vibes. And it's a cemetery, so I'm like 99% sure it is haunted. And yeah, I really liked it. And if you ever want to go check it out, Viola Desmond's grave is there, and we love her.
Do you want to give the people a little background on who Viola Desmond is?
Caitlin, do you want to do that? Because you're the historian.
I would love to. So,
okay.
So Viola Desmond was sort of the Canadian Rosa Parks.
Woohoo!
So she, I want to say 1946, she refused to leave a whites-only section of a theater in Nova Scotia. So she was really the first Black woman to sort of take a big stand against racial segregation in Canada, and especially Nova Scotia, which was rife with some pretty racist institutions, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Viola Desmond, as she grew up, she became this Canadian civil rights activist, and she was a pretty cool lady.
A legend. Like, if you lived in Atlantic Canada and you went to like school here, you definitely learned about her in high school.
Was there do you remember Heritage Minutes?
Yes.
Was there a Heritage Minute on Viola Desmond?
I want to say yes.
I have like a brief memory of one.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So for our non-Canadian listeners or people who don't live in the past, there were these things on Canadian TV that were called Heritage Minutes, and it was basically like a minute-long commercial of a reenactment of a really famous moment in Canadian history. So there was ones on the Halifax explosion, on the doctor who developed like a neurosurgery solution for strokes. But they were these little rundowns of Canadian history that kind of got kids a little bit more interested in historic events of the country.
Yeah.
And they sure worked for me. I'm pretty sure there was a Viola Desmond Heritage Minute.
I think you're right. I feel like I vaguely remember that too.
Yeah.
In case it wasn't obvious, I am not a history buff.
And in case it wasn't obvious, I am.
So, I'll do the paranormal, she can do the history.
But I think what you were saying about the Camp Hill Cemetery in general is a really important way of looking at hauntings, because like I feel like when people think about hauntings, they think everything has to be like a demonic presence or like a negative experience where people are getting pushed or attacked or scratched, whatever.
Yeah.
But being in a place that's surrounded by just peace and serenity, like it doesn't have to be made obvious that there's a spirit there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like an energy that you can feel.
Yeah. Like, I will go on to say, I don't necessarily, like, I'm not, like, 100% a believer, but I'm open to it. So I'm like, I'm not like, there are ghosts, there are demons, but I'm like, if I feel something, I'll admit to it. Like, I think that there's something else. So I'm like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
And, like, when you go there, to, like, sum it up, it feels like I'm, like, if there are ghosts there, I'm 90% sure I'm surrounded by a bunch of old ladies offering me candy. Like, they're old lady ghosts being like, hi, dear, you want to go crocheting? I don't know. And it's
Shut
like,
up, crocheting.
that's a good vibe.
Old people.
Yeah. Caitlin likes crocheting, in case you guys didn't know.
Anyway, back to Camp Hill.
Yes.
So, not only does it have incredible people like Viola Desmond, who is also now on the Canadian $10 bill, which excites me greatly. Yeah.
I don't have cash. So.
Someone handed me a $10 bill when I was at Stampede, and it was one of the new ones.
Yeah.
So nice.
I'm broke, but that's amazing for people who have $10.
Exactly. I wonder what that's like.
Yeah.
But not only are there famous people like our $10 lady, there's another fella that's pretty important to Canadian history. Well, people know less about the history of him and more of the fun that he's brought many a college student on a night out. So, a man named Alexander Keith is buried at Camp Hill Cemetery. And
yes, you heard that right.
Alexander Keith. So, a lot of our Canadian listeners, I don't know if they have it other places.
Oh, let me Google it, because that's a good question. You keep talking, I'll Google it.
Our Canadian listeners will know for sure that Alexander Keith is a type of beer that is very fondly enjoyed, particularly by Atlantic Canadians, all year round. There's a lot of Alexander Keith memorabilia. They have like a whole merch website, which is really funny. But yeah, so he's buried at Camp Hill, but he is also a source of a really famous haunting in Halifax. So the brewery, that's a hard word to say. The brewery that he founded and that still makes the Alexander Keith beer is reported to be one of the most haunted buildings in Halifax. So
Also, they also sell it in America.
Oh, okay.
In 22 states. Just thought I'd let you guys know. If any of our American listeners want to buy it.
I think it's disgusting personally. But
I'm not
that's
a fan of beer.
No, exactly. Beer tastes like piss to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I know what piss tastes like.
Sure.
But I would imagine it's that.
But if you like beer, go for it. Good for you.
Yeah, support our maritime buddy Alexander.
Ooh.
I guess. Because I'm the history buff here, I'm going to do a little bit of a background to give you guys an idea of who Alexander Keith was and why his brewery is so important to Halifax and to the Maritimes in general. So, the brewery itself was founded in 1820 by a Scottish immigrant named Alexander Keith. He was a pretty well-rounded guy. He did a lot of stuff, and he wasn't afraid to fight for what he wanted. So he moved to Halifax in 1817, and by the time like 3 years had gone by, he already had enough saved up to buy the brewery in 1820. He had to move it to a larger building in 1822, and then he built a completely new brewery in 1836 to house all of his employees and all of the demands that he needed to meet because his beer was becoming so popular. So 1836 is when the current building that the brewery is in was built.
It's been around since 1836.
Yeah.
Oh, that's for sure haunted.
So he built this new brewery and also built a home for him and his family at the same time. So he had 8 kids with, I think, his second wife. I think his first wife died pretty young, and then he got married and had 8 kids. So they needed a pretty big house.
Yeah.
So they built that house the same year, and he built tunnels that connected the brewery and his house. Because here's the thing, Halifax is pretty rainy, and a maritime winter is not a winter that's enjoyable for anybody. So
True.
Alexander wanted to walk to and from work without dealing with the outdoors. So the tunnels were a really cool system. So he's pretty successful by 1836. Like, he's doing his thing. Somehow, he went from becoming an owner of a brewery to being elected to Halifax City Council in 1841 and working for the city.
Oh.
And then he was elected mayor of Halifax in
Wait,
1843. What? Yeah, so he was mayor in 1843. Then he was elected again in 1853 and again in 1854. So he was the mayor of Halifax 3 times.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, big deal. Like,
Good for
super
him.
cool guy. Yeah. And in addition to, like, owning one of the most successful breweries in Canada and being an important conservative political figure, Alexander Kait was also the Grand Master of the Freemasons of Nova Scotia.
What? Oh, wait. What? Is this the thing you wanted to tell me?
Hell yeah, it is.
Whoa, I
Can you
didn't know
believe that?
If you haven't checked out our latest episode, it's a Freemason one, go back 2 episodes and you'll find out.
Yeah, so we did an episode on what Freemasonry is. So if you have any questions about that, we cover it in episode 3. Yeah, so he was a big deal. Not just like an entry-level Freemason either. Like, this guy was Grand Master. Like, he was up there doing his thing.
That's fantastic.
So he's a powerful dude, and he's a smart guy, which gives us an idea of why he's such an important figure in Halifax.
Yeah, I literally just thought he had a beer company.
I thought so too. I never knew any of this. And I was like doing research, and I was like, what do you mean he was the mayor? What? I was like, the beer guy? Anyway, so that's Alexander Kait. So his brewery, the one that was built in 1836, is still being used today. So his brewery is like really, really popular for tourists. People who live in Halifax don't really go there very much, but they drink a lot of Alexander Kait's.
Yes.
The brewery is like an experience for someone who's not from the area. But it gets a lot of traffic, and there's a lot of staff, and there's a lot of visitors that have reported some experiences in the brewery. So the first one is, there's a lot of reports from visitors and staff of a man who fits Alexander Kait's description, who is kind of seen walking around the brewery every once in a while. So in the tunnel that I mentioned that connects the brewery and his house, people hear footsteps like running back and forth. They hear footsteps of someone walking. It's really common for people to hear like the squeaking of like a hand cart.
Those are just the rats.
Probably. But it sounds like the squeaking of a cart when like there's a big keg of beer on it.
Oh.
But yeah, people have seen Alexander kind of walking around, just checking in on the place, making sure everything is up to standard. And you know what? I think, as creepy as it would be for me to walk into a man from 1820, I think it's quite peaceful that Alexander Kait is still connected to his place and still doing his thing there, you know?
There's one account though that's not so peaceful.
Oh, there's a couple that are not so peaceful.
Which ones do you have? Let's see. Let's hear them. Because I think that's cool.
Mhm.
But if there's anything more than that, I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah, the staff tend to report a lot of sightings. So they report seeing Alexander Keith, but they've also seen a man and a woman who are in like 19th century clothing that kind of hang out in the restaurant sort of area. Oh. So the man is usually seen sitting at the bar, and then he...
Getting drunk?
Yeah, and then he kind of disappears. And what's more disturbing to me is that the woman is seen walking around, kind of wandering the place, and then she disappears into a wall. So a bit of a Casper the Friendly Ghost sort of deal.
Yeah, see, if I seen that, I'd be like, alright, ghosts are real, cool.
I would run myself into a wall and be like, no, I'm done, I can't, no. So that's a step up of like, oh, creepy, not quite as peaceful. We don't know who these people are, why they're hanging around. Maybe they just really liked beer. Who knows? But there's a rare occurrence that is seen popping up. The face of a man who appears in a mirror, just kind of out of the blue.
Yeah.
And it's not that scary in and of itself. But this man seems to have just died a violent death.
Yep.
And I think I would shit myself.
Absolutely.
Especially after having a couple beers.
Yeah, not something you want to see drunk.
I'd need a couple beers after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of... There's a little bit of variance at the Keith's Brewery. Because there's like the peaceful, this really respected man is still taking care of his company that gave him all the riches. And like these people are still enjoying the patronage of the brewery itself. And then it's like, Murder Man is in the mirror again.
Yeah, by the way, there's a bloody guy in the men's bathroom mirror, so, you know, if you need to pee, go quick and don't look. Oh my god, that rhymed.
There you go. So enjoy some beer, enjoy some
He's
spooks.
from Scotland.
From Scotland. So sorry to anyone from the UK that ever listens.
Yeah. We're not good at accents.
No, but we're gonna keep doing them.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get better the more we do it.
We won't.
No. So my next one is also cemetery driven. I think you might have been here too. It's the Titanic graves.
I sure have.
Yes.
For those of you who do not know me in real life, buckle up. Because anything Titanic is my shit.
She's been a lifelong fiend for the Titanic.
I've studied the ship itself since I was 6 years old.
She's not even exaggerating.
Now.
She's serious.
Yeah, so Jamie has heard probably the most of all my friends of the importance of Titanic in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I've been to the Titanic graves.
Yeah.
A couple times.
I've
got pictures of the graves. Anyway, I digress. I could go on for hours.
Well, let's not do that. So, there's nothing I think that really says outright that they're, like, haunted. There's not really, like, any proof, quote-unquote. However, I also am a bit weird, and I did go there on my 18th birthday. Don't ask me why, but I was like,
I think I went
this
for my
is what
16th.
Yeah, it's like, this is what I want to do for my 18th birthday. So I went there, and I was born in July. It was like 30 degrees. It was super hot and very sunny. I had been out earlier in the day, like we went to the gardens, we did a couple other things, so it was hot. We were sweaty. Oh, it was just my mom, by the way. Love you, Mom. But when we got to the cemetery, we, like, went over to the Titanic grave area. I think they have, like, 100 of them? Is it around that? Less than that?
Less than that.
80?
There's like
40?
It depends
I know
on
there's
which
2
cemetery.
rows.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
I'd say like max 40.
Okay. Well, I'm bad at math.
At this specific cemetery.
Yeah. So when we got there, we were walking around trying to like be respectful and stuff, and I was like dead cold. I had goosebumps, and I had like the cold chills, and I didn't really know why, because the whole day it had been nice and warm. It was still hot and sunny, but when we were at the gravesite, I was like cold sweats. And I was like, I don't really believe in ghosts, but this is kind of freaking me out. I want to leave. So we took our pictures and we skedaddled out of there because it was giving me the willy-nillies. And I don't necessarily think they're like, if there are like bad ghosts there, but maybe it was the trauma and the bad vibes from how they died.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of it is in the feeling of it. Like, it's a very heavy experience to go to any sort of Titanic memorial, and that's not just coming from someone who like knows everything about Titanic. Like, all you really have to know is like these people died horrible deaths.
Yeah.
And like knowing that you're sort of in the presence of them is a lot. And so when I went, I obviously like I knew a little bit about each of the people that were buried, whatever. And if we're gonna compare Jamie and I would say I'm more of a believer than she is.
Yeah. I'm like 50-50. You're like
I'm
what?
like 90-10.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm I'm probably overly into things.
Well, you've had experiences, so...
I have, and my thing is, like, if it's not real, then it's not real, like, whatever. But if it is real, I don't want to take the chance that I'm going to disrespect something or someone.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have my bases covered. So, like, I was there, and I was, like, talking to the gravestones, and, like, saying hello, and, like, wishing them peace, whatever. But there's one grave that... Luckily, they've discovered who this person is now, but it's the grave of the unknown child.
Oh.
So, long story short, there was a pair of shoes that came up in the wreckage. Like, this body with, like, the only thing that was intact were the shoes. And no one came forward to identify the child. No family ever found out. And obviously... It sank in 1912. There's not a lot of autopsy things that can indicate who this child was, who they were related to, and allow them to notify any family. So for pretty much 100 years, no one knew who this child was, but they've got this amazing little headstone that kind of gives a description of the child and has like a little prayer on it. And I don't remember his name now, but off the top of my head, but they have identified who the child was now. So they can give sort of some peace to any descendants that may have remained, but I believe the rest of his family died in the sinking as well. So that's why no parents came forward.
That's so sad.
But that gravestone in particular was a very heavy feeling. And like you said, like there may not be necessarily spirits walking around in that cemetery or in that specific area, but there's definitely some emotional feelings that come out of it that make it pretty creepy, like heavy.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if I was drowned in a boat sinking, I'd probably be very frustrated and angry in the afterlife.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's
being
a lot.
This boat was supposed to be unsinkable.
God. Oh, don't even get me started on it. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh God. Okay.
But like Jamie and I have talked about it too. Like there's a lot of stories, not even just supernatural, but just fantastical stories that come out of the reality of the sinking of the Titanic. And, like, that's probably a 2 or 3 part episode we could go into of coincidences and sort of mysteries that have come out of it and came before it. Like, it's a very, very broad topic that not a lot of people really go into because they think, like, oh, it hit an iceberg and it sank.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yes, that did happen, but I'm
that's
not
my
saying
version of history.
But no, that's, there's a lot to look at with Titanic, but yeah, that cemetery, there's a couple cemeteries in Halifax that have Titanic victims, but that one in particular is it's quite heavy. Halifax has had, I'd say, its fair share of, like, pretty heavy things happen.
Yeah.
And I guess that kind of ties into the next haunting that we want to look at. So I did a little bit of digging on a place called St. Paul's Anglican Church, which is funny because I feel like every city has a St. Paul's Anglican Church. Like, I don't know if it's a thing. There's one in Calgary. I was trying to do research and I was like, they're fucking everywhere. So, I don't know. My dad's name is Paul, so he gets excited at anytime anyone talks about St. Paul because he's like, oh, it's me.
Paul.
Yeah, so St. Paul's Anglican Church is the oldest building in Halifax. Its building was completed in 1750, so it's been around for quite a long time. And what I like about it, not that I'm a religious person at all, like you do you, but like I don't really attend church.
I don't religion
at all. But because this is the oldest building in Halifax, it's seen a lot of the history of Halifax change. So it houses hundreds of years of historical archives from Halifax, and all of their records are available online. So I had a fun time doing this one. The haunting that is really famous for St. Paul's Anglican Church has to do with the Halifax explosion. Just a little bit of background on that because, like I said, like, things in Halifax seem to be pretty heavy, and this was, I would say, one of the most intense aspects of Canadian history. Like, this was a big deal.
Yeah.
So, long story short, December 6th, 1917, a French cargo ship called the SS Mont Blanc was carrying explosives, and as it entered the Halifax harbor, it collided with a Norwegian ship called the SS Imo or Imo, I'm not sure. It's Norwegian, I am not. So it collided with the Norwegian ship in the harbor. There were a couple of moments of panic before the ship ultimately exploded, and it killed 1,782 people for sure. There were people that were never found. It injured approximately 9,000 other people, and it completely destroyed Halifax. There was not a lot left. It was pretty intense, and it's a pretty heavy topic even to think about.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you ever go to Halifax, like, there's memorials of it everywhere. Because it was, like, 1917 realistically wasn't that long ago. There's families that are still feeling the effects of it.
Because, like, in reality, it was, like, technically, like, what, 103, 104 years ago?
It's 103, 104. I thought you were saying 100 or 300 or 400 years ago. I was like...
No.
I was like, 19, Jaim. 1917.
I'm here, I'm present, I'm doing math.
Yes. We were talking about Heritage Minutes earlier. Like I said, I think I mentioned the Halifax explosion had a Heritage Minute. I think that was the one that everybody probably saw the most often, at least in the Maritimes. That was probably the most famous one. Like, it had So the Heritage Minute talks about a guy named Vince Coleman who was a train dispatcher, and there was a train that had a bunch of children on it that was coming towards Halifax as the explosion was about to happen, and Vince Coleman stayed behind to get this message out to the train that it needed to stop because the boat was about to explode. So he had time to get out of the Marconi office because the offices were right along the harbor. So he had to choose between getting out and potentially saving himself or saving the children and the people on the train.
Yeah.
And he stayed behind.
And now I feel bad for trash talking.
Well, that's why I had to go back and check, because, like, he was a selfless person. So
that's so nice.
The Halifax explosion was a lot. So when this explosion happened, so the morning of the explosion, the story of the haunting at St. Paul's Anglican Church started. So I heard 2 different versions of this story.
Mm-hmm.
Both kind of founded on the same idea. Basically, on the morning of the explosion, either a church deacon or an organ player was in front of one of the windows on the 2nd floor of the church.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to look this up for myself. So I'm gonna give people an explanation of what a deacon is, in case you don't know.
What that is.
I figured.
Teach me, Mom.
So a deacon is someone who's an ordained official in the church with the intent to become a priest.
Huh.
So he's like a priest in training. So either a priest in training or an organist was standing in front of a window when the explosion occurred.
Mm.
So the 2 versions of the story go that if it was the organist, he was decapitated by the glass shards in the explosion and killed on impact.
Oof.
And if it was the deacon, somehow, like, the energy of the light and the heat and the sorrow sort of etched his face into the glass like an image as he died. Which is a much more dramatic telling. Not that decapitation isn't dramatic, it definitely is, but it's like a lot. But either way, whether it was the organist or the deacon, people claim to see like a gray figure or a shadow standing in, obviously it's a new window.
Yeah.
They've replaced it since 1917. But
this is mentioned in Steve's book too, by the way, if anyone's interested.
Yes. But they'll see this figure in the window on the 2nd floor looking out at Halifax, which I think is very sad.
I've also been, I don't know if I think it might have been 2 or 3 years ago, I've been on the ghost walk, and we walked by that area, and I remember being there, and it was dark. I think it was like, 10 o'clock at night or something, and they had people, like, there were people saying, like, look, you can see a face, you can see a face. I didn't see anything. I was looking, I was in the front, I wanted to see it, I didn't see anything, but apparently there were people who did see it. It might have just been an actor, it might have been real, I don't know, but I was sad I didn't see anything. But I was there.
I will say, I've been to the area not at night, but it's creepy enough during the daytime, so kudos to you for doing the ghost walk.
I did not want to go alone. Although I do love scary stuff. Obviously.
That area in and of itself is pretty intense. I think our next story takes place across the street.
Yeah, I think literally like within walking distance, 2 minutes max?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one you will have definitely heard about if you've been to Nova Scotia, the Five Fishermen restaurant. I know many people who've gone there, and all of them say it's haunted. And I'm like, that's cool.
Me included.
So I can give a little bit of my background, and then do you want to tell your personal experience? Because I've never been there, but I want to go.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, I don't know the full history, because I'm not like Caitlin. It bores me. So I just took what I thought was interesting from it. I think Steve Vernon also talks about this in his book as well, but apparently the staff hear a lot of, like, creepy stuff, and apparently the staff have more experiences than the customers.
Oh, yeah.
Because, where the kitchen is, apparently that used to be, this whole thing used to be a mortuary, and that's where they kept the cadavers. Definitely would be a haunted place. That's creepy. Why did they turn it into a restaurant afterwards?
That's what I don't understand.
know.
It was also a school.
Yeah, why? It's not a multi-purpose thing. Can we just, like, pick one and go?
No, so it went from a morgue to a school for girls, and now it's a restaurant.
Yeah, why? Who approved this? Why would you do that? You know it's gonna be haunted. But, yeah, so there are rumors of both customers and workers hearing people walking around, there being, like, loud footsteps, shadows, dark figures seen in, like, the corners of people's eyes. Staff have experienced flashing lights, like the lights flickering. This one I don't like. Someone calling their name when they're there alone.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? No. I would be out. I'd be like, that's enough from you.
I quit. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Dishes being dropped or, like, smashed by themselves, and also the figure of an old man. Like, staff will see an old guy and think it's a customer, and then they'll go to, like, take his order or, like, go up to him to usher him in, and he's gone.
He pops up in the mirror a lot upstairs in the, like, dining area.
See,
No.
I don't mess with mirrors. I don't like that.
No.
Like, I'm not necessarily a believer, but I do not play with mirrors. They're supposed to be, like, what, a gateway or,
Yeah.
like a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to touch... No.
Yeah, so when I went on a tour there, and the waitress... Well, I went for lunch. I conned my way into a tour. And the waitress was like, oh, yeah, this is the mirror where we see the old guy.
Nah.
As I'm looking at the mirror... She tells me this, and I was like, oh, fuck, okay. I was like, that would have been nice to know before.
Did you see an old guy?
Jeez. No. But immediately I was like, bleh.
If you did, you might have soiled your pants.
Absolutely. I almost soiled my pants anyway.
So did you have fun? Was the food good?
Oh, the food was actually delicious. I think I had a wrap. It was great. But the reason I was so excited about it was because it was the morgue that was used by the McKay Bennett, which was the ship that went out to retrieve bodies from the wreckage of the Titanic. So it was Titanic passengers that were the cadavers there.
That's why you know it.
Yeah. So I go there, I conned my mom into taking me for lunch, and then I gave the waitress a bit of a sob story about how much I love Titanic and how passionate I am. So she, in the middle of her shift, she took me on a tour, like behind the scenes of the whole restaurant. Oh my god, it was amazing. I wish I remembered her name. She was so
Fired.
sweet. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's probably good I don't remember her name. I'm not going to get in trouble. But, yeah, so she took me around into the staff areas, into all sorts of places. She told me a couple of personal stories that she had very reminiscent of what Jamie was saying, like hearing people calling her name. There's, like, dinner parties they've had where, like, people are renting out the dining room upstairs, and they'll have people in, like, 20th century clothing, like Titanic era clothing, that are just all of a sudden there. And customers are like, well, I didn't invite them to the party. The staff is like, well, they don't work here. And then it's this moment of, like, oh my god.
Well, then get out.
Nobody invited this guy. There were two spots in the restaurant that I felt really, really heavy. So the first place was where they house, like, it's not like a wine cellar, but it's like a wine room, I guess. And it used to be the elevator where they would bring the bodies up. So I walked in and I was like, oh, fancy, a wine cellar. And then the waitress was like, yeah, look up. And there was a huge hook hanging from the ceiling. So that was the hook that they would use to hook the coffins up. Because, like, coffins and, like, the bodies and stuff are heavy. So they would use this hook to get everything secured so they could turn the elevator on. So it was, like, the original hook that no one had ever taken out. It was, like, all rusted. And, like, I just, like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. It was just this moment of, like, oh my god, like, this is where all of the bodies were not even just Titanic passengers, but bodies in general in this morgue being transported up and down. Like, there's so much emotion in it. And then, so the dining room upstairs, there's like the dining room, you go upstairs, and then on the right is the dining room where the mirror is, and then on the left is like more of a bar area connected to the dining room. And she was telling me that that's where a lot of employees have experiences with their name being called, and there's like a dark figure that hangs around in the bar.
Yeah, I'm going by a fake name if I go there.
Like a shadow man that hangs out. It was very creepy, and it felt heavy. Like, it didn't feel negative, but like intense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so great food though, great service.
I think I know why their food's so good.
Why?
They season it with the ashes from the mortuary.
I fucking knew you were gonna say that.
I've been thinking about that joke for the past 5 minutes.
God.
Anyway, so I'm either gonna go eat there or apply to work there, because either way I want to go.
Please work there.
And if I do, I will let y'all know if I experience anything. And if I do, I may change my opinion on paranormal stuff.
If I do, the podcast is canceled. I will never talk about it ever.
I'll be going to therapy.
Yeah.
Well, should do that anyway, but that's a different story.
Whoops. That's my favorite place in all of Halifax, for sure.
The Five Fishermen?
The Five Fishermen is easily the coolest place.
Good for them.
So, it's not just the Five Fishermen that I think is super cool, though. But that's just the cool place that I've been to. There's a place called the Neptune Theater.
I've been there.
Oh, I want to go.
I went there to see A Christmas Carol with my friend Anna and her mom one Christmas. I met the actor. It was really scary. I got starstruck and couldn't speak.
I think I mentioned this in a podcast. I was a big theater kid.
Still is.
I am a big theater kid.
Nerd.
Absolutely, and proud of it. So the Neptune Theater combines all of my favorite things. It's very old and historical. It's haunted, and it's a theater. So I really can't go wrong with it. So I was very excited to look at the ghost stories here. So background on the Neptune. It was built in 1915, and it was originally known as the Strand Theater. And one thing that I thought was cool was it was designed by Andrew Cobb, who was the first professional architect in Nova Scotia.
Good for him.
So, yeah, good for him. It was cool. So yeah, so the Strand
Theater... It's still standing, so...
Exactly, he did a pretty good job.
He's good at his job.
So the Strand Theater was the original theater company that was in the building. And it was originally a vaudeville house. So it was the first vaudeville house. Do you know what vaudeville is?
No.
So, so I didn't think you would. So I wrote down the definition.
Amazing.
So an easy explanation of vaudeville is it's like a comedy, sometimes with music. So the Wikipedia definition is that it's a comedy without psychological or moral intentions based on a comical situation. So there's not like more behind it. It's just funny. Okay. It's like a funny musical play.
Okay.
It like originated in France, and it became really popular in North America, and like I guess it was most popular in like the 30s, but that's beside the point. So it was originally a vaudeville house, and vaudeville houses weren't typically theaters; they were just like hangouts. So it was the first vaudeville house in Nova Scotia that was actually constructed.
Theater rejects, haha.
Exactly. But it was the first vaudeville house that was constructed as a theater, like with the intent of doing theater, which was kind of cool. So that was 1915. So then there was a fire in 1926 that needed a lot of renovation. It didn't burn down, but it came pretty close. So there was a lot of renovation and redecoration. And then they did more redecoration 2 years later in 1928. And then in 1928, it was taken over by the Garrick Theater Company, so it became the Garrick Repertory Theater. Wow. And unfortunately, that was a bad time because we all know that the stock market crashed in 1929, so the year after the Garrick was founded. and the Great Depression happened. So
I
one had...
totally knew that. Yeah.
Oh my God. So no one had money to go see plays. They barely had money to feed themselves. So the Garrick Repertory Theatre shut down. 3 years later, it opened as a movie theater, and it remained a movie theater for the next 33 years. So it wasn't until July 1st, 1963, that the Neptune Theatre Company was founded, and it reopened the theater as the Neptune Theatre. So it's a really, really old building. Exactly. It's a really old building, but it's only been the Neptune since 63. Which, historically speaking, isn't that long. But, in terms of hauntings...
Give us the scary details.
There's rumors that there was a brothel upstairs when it wasn't being used by a theater company, and, like, all the stories that come with brothels, whatever. There's no confirmation of that, but a lot of brothels didn't keep record because they're brothels. So there's, like, no way of actually confirming if any of that is true.
Boo!
But the thing with theaters is almost every theater or, like, theatrical place has some sort of ghost story or haunting that goes along with it. And I think a lot of it is just because it's a place of high emotion. Any place that there's heavy emotion behind, like if someone dies like a tragic death or like a violent death, there's more than likely going to be some sort of ghost story that comes out of it because there's like a residual feeling of that energy left behind. And in a place like a theater...
Hence the name residual haunting.
Exactly. So in places like theaters where there's large groups of people experiencing high levels of emotion coming from these plays, and even from the movies that were being shown there, there's gonna be, I don't want to say like false ghosts created, but there's going to be heavy aspects of energy left. Yeah. So one thing that the people at the Neptune talk about a lot is this thing called a ghost light. So a ghost light, for people that aren't theater people, is a really, really common practice in theater. So it's like a lamp almost, or like a single light that is left either on stage or like really close to the stage. So it's left on after a show is done, after rehearsal has been cleaned up, whatever. And it's left like when people leave. So it's a really common practice in small theater companies, but it's also like people on Broadway do it all the time. Like the cast of Legally Blonde have talked about their ghost light that they leave on. Like a lot of Broadway theaters have this tradition. So there's like a theater tradition that, depending on who you ask and how much they believe in it, some people say that the ghost light chases away bad spirits because they don't want to get caught in the light. So they're not going to come in and mess with the set or mess with the costumes, mess with the actors if they're like still hanging out. Some people will say that it lights the way for the ghosts after everyone has left. So it's kind of a respect thing that they can still see where they're going. They can still see things that they do. And then people who aren't really believers say, yeah, we leave the ghost light on so that people don't fall into orchestra pits. Which, you know what, is fair, because I was doing a show once when I was in I think I was in 6th grade, and this girl fell off the stage into an orchestra pit. She broke like part of her jaw and like lost 2 of her teeth.
Was I there for that? Because I feel like either I was there or you told me about it. And I
told you about it when it happened, because I remember getting home and calling you and being like, oh my god.
Right, okay.
Because I was outside when it happened, and I just heard this like thunk and like instruments falling. And then I heard her crying. Yeah, it was, so realistically, even if there's not ghosts, it's a good idea to leave a light on. Because, like, orchestra pits are, like, deep.
Yeah.
And not soft. But anyway, I digress. The ghost light is, like, a really important tradition for a lot of theater companies. So, the Neptune, they always leave a ghost light on. But there's a lot of stories of, like, hearing footsteps in the attic, or, like, seeing things move around, having costumes moved, like hangers picked up, whatever. Mm-hmm. But the one story that I really found compelling from the Neptune was that one night there was an actor who was staying behind after a rehearsal to kind of clean things up, organize things a little bit, have some time by themselves. Mm-hmm. And they had nothing but the ghost light on because they were just getting ready to leave. And the ghost light sort of illuminated this actual ghost or this spirit who started dancing across the stage and like was doing a performance of what these people had been rehearsing, doing a performance for this actor, like not interacting with them, just dancing across the stage.
That would scare the heck out of me.
I think that's so beautiful though that like this light was able to capture but I mean, yeah, like if I was the actor that watched that, I'd jump into the orchestra pit.
Like that's cool, like, but I don't want to see it.
Fair. Yeah, so like I said, there's lots of little things at the Neptune, but I thought that was
I can add some.
Oh,
because there were some that Mr. Vernon wrote about. I thought you were gonna say those ones. You didn't. Though.
No,
you told me different ones.
I didn't want to go into too much because like I said, with theaters, there's so much high energy that it creates.
Yeah.
A bunch of different.
One of the things that I heard about was from Steve, you know, is that there is a ghost who reportedly is seen taking bows any chance he gets, like whenever shows are finished. This ghost apparently wants to come and bow before the other people. He wants the recognition. I think that's kind of cute. Gotta love getting validation even after death. There was another one. I'll read this one from the book. It's of a spirit the staff members call Sid the Ham. So apparently there was an actor who fell from the grid, like up top, the framework above the stage. And apparently he was fixing a light and he wasn't supposed to be up there and he fell and, you know, but yeah, people say they hear footsteps all the time and chains apparently being rattled, which I don't know why there are chains, but alright, Sid the Ham, you do you. And apparently he's been seen for years during various performances, and he's a lucky charm for the actors. If the actors see Sid before a performance, it's supposed to be a really good night for the actors. So I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, even if it's just folklore, I think that's kind of cool.
I can interject here and say the reason there would be chains is for the lighting equipment.
Ah, that checks out because he was trying to fix the lights.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. That's all I got for that one. I thought that was kind of cool.
I like the guy taking the bow.
Good I think that's really funny.
He needs attention even in the afterlife, and
that's gonna be me.
I really identify with that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, was that all the ones you have? I think I have one or two more.
Yeah, that's it for me.
It's my turn. Mm-hmm. This one hits very close to home for me. It's Dalhousie University. I have to burp. Excuse me. Go Dal. It is the Sheriff Hall residence. So, I used to live there. And it is apparently the haunted place at Dalhousie, and I lived there for 2 years. So, the legend has it, there was a girl. It's debated whether she was a student or a, cleaning lady, staff. Apparently, she was very quiet and shy, but she fell in love with the professor.
Oh, no.
Which makes it sketchy if she was a student, but, debated. Also, I don't know if this is true. This might just be, like you say, like a legend, like the theater,
but the thing.
It could be.
Legends come from somewhere.
Exactly. So you never know. If it might be real.
Exactly.
But yeah, so she fell in love with this professor. He was kind of into her. He was like, yeah, she's alright.
Men.
Yeah, so it says he, like, mistreated her and, like, he didn't want any future with her, but she got pregnant. And she was like, this is yours. And he was like, nope, not interested. And apparently...
Always use a condom.
Yes. Especially when you're in a questionable relationship. Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, apparently she was heartbroken and depressed, and she hung herself. Yeah, so apparently she hung herself on the 4th floor in Newcomb House of Sheriff Hall. And for anyone who doesn't know, Sheriff Hall is, I think, divided into 3 or 4 different little, like, houses. Newcomb is the all-girls spot. And guess where I used to live?
I was
4th
say,
floor of
wait
Newcomb.
a minute.
Yeah. So I literally lived on the 4th floor of Newcomb House in Sheriff Hall. And I remember hearing the rumors of it in first year and being like, meh, whatever. And then in second year, I had actually worked at Dal as well. And that's when the staff that I worked with were like, no, that's a real thing. And then they gave me the details, and I was like, ooh.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Nina likey. So, yeah. Again, I don't necessarily know if I believe it, but I had some weird experiences that I kind of ignored because I was like, I have to live here for 2 years, and I don't want it to be haunted. Someone I used to know said that she would always hear, like, knocking on her door and the walls, and I didn't really believe her because she was very into spiritual stuff. So I was just like, she might just be reading into it. It's probably just mice or whatever, because we had a lot of mice, just letting y'all know. So I was like, it's mice in the walls, you're fine. But I also had an experience in a bathroom. And it freaked me out, and I can't really explain it. So the bathrooms there are nasty. They, at least when I was there, I think they've renovated. They literally put 40 women, or young adult ladies, on a floor and gave us 4 bathrooms. 4 public washrooms, like literally like Walmart bathrooms, like the stalls, the cracks in the door. That was shared among us for a year. It was gross. You had to poop next to people, like it was not fun. But I remember going in there one time late at night, had my little house coat on, my little slippers, and I go in there and I'm like, okay, I'm alone. So then I went in, and because I never liked to use the bathroom when people are around, so I'd always try to go to an empty one. And I went to the one nearest to my room, and I sat down, and there was no one in stall next to me because the door was open. And there's only like 2 doors and then 2 in a different spot. So there's like 4 bathrooms, but separated. So I was sitting, chilling. I can't remember if I was peeing or pooping. Not related to the story, really. But just wanted to give you guys
more
TMI.
Details. Yeah, give us more.
And I remember sitting there, and you can hear when the door opens because it creaks really loud. It was like, ah! So I knew nobody had come in. Rip headphone users. But I literally heard the sink go like, like it sounded like somebody had turned it on and off, like they washed their hands really bad. Because I was like 2 seconds. But then I was like, wait, is someone in here though? And I like peeked through the crack because, you know, they're huge. Mm-hmm. There's nobody there, and I was like, you know what? It's late at night. I misheard things. And then I hear the chunk sound of the
the chunk sound.
The paper towel, like when you pull it down, it goes. Mm-hmm. I heard that, and I was like, what? Like nobody's in here. So I finished doing what I was doing, and I went out right away, and I was alone, and I was like,
Thanks. I hate it.
Yeah, and I really can't. I don't know. I can't really explain it. So I just was like, you know, this, I probably just misheard it, and then I went to bed. Because I was like, I don't want to deal with that.
That's my favorite thing with ghost stories, when people are like, yeah, I saw a figure at the end of my bed. It was creepy, then I went back to sleep.
Mm-hmm. It's because I don't really want to think about it. I don't want to believe that.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, I didn't see anything. I would have been completely a believer afterwards if I had seen some chick, like, standing there staring at me after, like, ghosty.
You know what,
Actually,
though?
that would really scare me. I don't want to do that.
Ideal place to do it, though, because if you're going to shit yourself out of fear, you're already in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So.
Convenient, thanks.
Yeah.
I had also experienced a different thing that I didn't really know what it was until I kind of put it together actually this year when I was doing the research for this. So they have these study lounges all over the place. I think maybe 2 per floor, at least in Newcomb. And if you were in my friend group, you know we studied there at the weirdest hours. Like, not during the day. It'd be like 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
That sounds
when
about
no
right.
one else is around.
Yeah.
And they have, like, they're not just solid walls coming into the room, because they don't want it to feel super boxed out, because there were no windows.
Of course.
Because, fun.
Yeah.
Who needs it? So they just had, like, slanted panels and then a little entryway, so you could see if someone was walking down the hall. And every single time I would study there late at night by myself, whether it was, like, after everyone had left or before anyone was coming, it always felt like there was someone about to turn the corner or, like, about to peek around and look at me. Because sometimes our friends would do that and be like, oh, you're still here. And then it felt like someone, like, it could have just been in my head, but it was to the point where I'd be, like, sitting there typing, and I'd think I see somebody peeking, so I'd look up from what I'm doing. And then there's nobody there, and I'm like, oh, I could have swore I saw someone with, like, dark hair. Apparently Penelope had long black hair and was very white, pale, short girl. And I'm
was
like...
Penelope the one that was in love with the professor? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I read in the book, like, a couple days ago. It said she was small, long black hair, and I'm like, oh.
Nice.
So is that who I was seeing for 2 years when I was like, is someone coming in? No, I'm alone.
That tracks.
I don't like that, though, because that freaks me out, because I saw that all the time. That has me a little spooked, but it's fine. But yeah, that was my experience. Honestly, I feel like there might have been a couple more experiences that I have repressed, because I'm like,
that wouldn't
don't want
surprise
to
me
think
at all.
about it. I heard another noise, and now I'm freaked out. Why do we do this at night? Why do we always do this at night?
Every time. But yeah, so that was a little bit. There's so many more ghost stories in Halifax. There's like
literally like
we could talk
at
for
least
hours
30.
about it. Yeah.
So like if you guys want more, we can give you more.
Yeah, we can give you more. But I think it's a nice little dive into how cool Halifax is.
Yeah. I think
like
Halifax is underrated.
Yeah, I think so
like
too.
sometimes it sucks, but it's also underrated.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's a nice place to visit. I don't think I could ever live there, but that's just me.
As someone who's lived in so many places,
yeah.
This one is not one of the worst. So I'll say that. I do like the people are amazing. The food's good. The ghosts are creepy.
And what more can you really ask for?
All right, everyone have a fantastic day.
Or night.
Or
have
life.
a good time. Creeps and Coffee is produced and edited by us, Kait and Jaim.
Our theme music is Stuck in a Hole by Dated.
For more information on where to find them, check out the link in our show notes. And to connect with us, follow us on Instagram and Twitter @Creeps and Coffee.